Congratulations to everyone who purchased yearlings at our sale last year. Standardbred Horse Sales Company is excited to watch your 2-year-olds train, and we wish you the best of luck at the races. We look forward to seeing more future champions. We'll see you November 2nd through the 6th in Harrisburg, as once again we will be offering 3 days of the sport's top yearlings as well as the #1 mixed sale in the industry. Don't miss it. See you in Harrisburg.
With over 30 years of experience in wealth planning and a lifetime of involvement in harness racing, Matt Franklin at Wire to Wire Wealth can help you build a financial plan that addresses the unique circumstances of those involved in the horse racing industry. Whether you are investing to build wealth, protect your family, or preserve your assets, Matt at Wire to Wire Wealth will work with you through the wealth planning process from start to finish.
Canada's premier yearling auction, the London Classic Yearling Sale, returns this October. Hundreds of yearlings from Canada's top breeders and major buyers, all under one roof at the JR Expo Centre. And American buyers, remember, your dollar goes further here. From the world-renowned Ontario Sire Stakes program to the Grand Circuit, London Classic graduates compete at the sport's highest level. You can't afford to miss the London Classic Yearling Sale, October 13th and 14th. For more information, visit londonclassic.ca.
We've traveled 2,000 miles and seen various training centers and are now here at the Meadows Racetrack and Casino in Washington, Pennsylvania, all to catch a quick interview with trainer Ron Burke. Ronnie, you're closing in on 17,000 training wins, almost to 380 million. Your horses this year have already made 2.1 million. How many horses are you currently training?
There's probably 300, over 300 right now in training if you count the babies, and we'll probably shed a few as the babies come up because we need to make room for. We don't obviously have 90 stalls sitting empty, so we'll get rid of a few, and probably Lexington helps us a lot. We get a lot of horses to Kentucky, and that takes off a little bit of stress other places.
So while we've been following you around, I called down to Sunshine Meadows. PJ was on his way to Oak Grove. Keith was nice enough to show us the horses there. We were going to meet up with you in Astor. Something came up. You had to go to Jersey. How often does that happen in your schedule?
Yeah, it's been crazy. I don't know. Somehow I've managed to make this harder than it's ever been. But, it's fun. Like, the only time I was just telling my wife today, it's tough. Like, every day is the hardest day. Whenever I show up, like here, we trained 15 today. When I go, wherever I go Monday, we'll train 15 there. But, it's probably the best use of my time other than jogging horses or doing anything else, that when I'm there, we train them all.
I know that you've said you watch every race. How do you keep up with training schedules?
That's, a day-to-day, I get lists from every barn, and I talk to every barn has a head trainer other than me. So, basically I talk to every group every day, and, we're based on where I want them to be and when can I be there to move them along faster.
6 states currently, 8 different facilities. That has to be just something that's overwhelming. How do you deal with the stress of that?
Yeah, it's not really overwhelming anymore for me. If you gave somebody it and just said, here, try it, yeah, it'd be hard. But you figure out ways to do it. You figure out travel, and I go where I'm needed and the most. But I still, I'm trying to be more in Florida now and, home more. A lot of times now I bring the horses to me. If there's a problem, instead of me going to them, they come to me.
With the aspect of all the employees that you do have, Mickey Jr. has been a huge asset. I know he's on the road a lot traveling. That has to help your stable in that way.
Yeah, no, Mickey's always been great. And, the addition now of my son, Brad, like we couldn't have done it this year without Brad. Like it's been amazing, Mickey, if he's missing, Brad now runs the track over there. He knows how to do the track. He trains, he drives, he grooms, he does whatever, anything you ships, whatever you need him to do. So, when you pick up another person that can do everything, that's a big deal.
He has evolved last year getting his first driving win, but I see just here in a few short days I've noticed that he's out there driving quite a few of yours.
Yeah, we'll start, give him chances when they're first starting. I'd like to get him a couple cheaper horses so that he could drive the same horse every week. Because I still now, right now when I can get Ronnie, obviously I want Ronnie over Brad. But like I like what I see with him. He's doing the right things. He does, he listens 1,000%, and I'm happy.
We've talked about Mickey and Brad. Michelle gives a huge contribution to the stable as well.
Michelle's the hardest worker out of all of us, with maybe the exception of my mom. It's Mom and Michelle. Like, Michelle puts in crazy hours, gets to the barn at 3:30 in the morning. She, keeps up on the paperwork for all the barns, helps out with everybody. She's irreplaceable.
Speaking of your mom, I spoke to Becky about what they do. They said that they work over 80 hours a week, 7 days a week. Just by the numbers for them, they currently have 104 people on the payroll, and they sent out 140 W-2s to employees and approximately 175 1099s to vendors. That's all in addition to the regular invoicing for the horses in the operation.
Yeah, no, my mom's amazing. Becky's been a great help for him, but my mom's still she's running that show. And, I talked to her, and, it's funny because she'll call and I, give her an answer, and then it's not the answer she wants, and then she tells me, no, that's not. I'm like, why'd you call if you know so much, So basically, I stay out of her business part. She stays out of my training part. We do a pretty good job that way.
Well, an impressive year this year, awards at the Dam Patch, one of them being Breeder of the Year. Moving on to some of your horses, a large number of these are now becoming your homebreds.
Yeah, no, Mark's done a great job. He basically built a broodmare thing for Sweet Lou. We started to breed so we could support Sweet Lou, and then we've added more studs, and we've noticed that we seem to do very well with our own mares and our own studs. So, I think that's the wave of the future for us. We'll, continue breeding our mares to our studs, and, I enjoyed it. I don't care. When you breed them, it definitely means more, for sure.
Where are those brood mares and foals located?
You know what? They're spread out all over, too. That's probably the next thing we need to do is get a farm, but I just don't know if I want another business. But, there's a lot in Kentucky. There's a lot in Ohio. Winterwood's always been a big deal for us. This year, the place in PA, Linwood and View Carre had a bunch. So, they're spread out. So, it's pretty much where Mark wants them to go. I know they end up in Indiana, too, not Indiana, Virginia, too, because Mark's worried about the breeders' bonuses and stuff. So they're all around. I really don't keep up on that. Mark asked me, my opinion at the end, but pretty much he, does what he wants there.
When dealing with homebreds versus the ones that you purchase, what are the differences?
The difference is with the yearlings that we're buying, we're, hoping for perfection. When we're buying perfection, we'll maybe take small flaws, but we aren't going to take a big flaw. Sometimes with the homebreds, you're stuck with a big flaw, and you find out it's a flaw you can live with, too. So, basically, even I would maybe move some of the homebreds on that I didn't like, but Mark has pretty much been of the thing. We bred them, we're racing them. So, and it's worked out really well. So, right now I would say we can keep on training them all.
We've talked about the partner roles in your stable before, Mark's role, Larry's role, things like that. How does that all come together at times when there's things like staking or things like that? Are these big group meetings, or do you do it by phone, text message? How are those decisions made?
Usually everybody has their own lane. You just kind of stay in your lane, and then a lot of them are way better at communicating me. They are big on texting each other and going back and off, but I usually only deal with Mark. Very rarely do I talk to anybody else with it, because it's just, there's too many things to go over all very day. You got to have a boss when it comes to something. With entering, I'm 1, Mark's 1A. With, staking, I'm 1, the rest of them are all 1A. It's all different, so, but, we communicate a lot, but them guys, they're great friends to all my owners. It's my thing I like most. They're never cheering against each other, and they're never trying to put each other down, and they help each other, so it makes my job way easier.
How many partners are currently in your operation?
I think we're around 40-some, my mom said one time, 40-some with 200 different combinations. So, that's the thing is, I don't really pay attention when people ask me how their horses are doing. I have to ask them, who do you own? Because I don't I treat them all the same. I don't, it doesn't matter if my mom owns them, Mark owns them, Jerry, Joe Corey, it doesn't matter. I treat them all the same, and I think that's one of the reasons we do well.
Moving back to your homebreds, let's start off with Blue-Eyed Stranger, a tall, dark stranger out of Blue Diamond Eyes.
Yeah, that's Scott Dillon homebred. That's a very nice colt. I have a couple of real nice tall dark strangers this year. I don't think he's as bad as a stud as people thought he was. I think you're going to see this year, he's going to do better than people ever expected this year. So I see that. That's a really nice colt.
Totally Tyler we caught up with at Sunshine Meadows as well, a Bulldog Hanover out of Bandstand.
Yeah, she's a Bulldog's full brother. You know what? I've always thought he was right below the top group till yesterday. I trained him actually yesterday in Florida. He goes right with the best of them. That is a very good colt. Slick, good gaited, and really wants to do his work.
Eastie Boy, a pacing colt, Sweet Lou out of Rockin Racer, Lou Prince's full brother.
Yeah, he's nice. He does everything we ask him. I don't know if he has the high-end speed yet that Lou Prince showed it right from the get-go. This horse is consistent and consistently gets better, but he hasn't shown me yet the turn of foot that Lou Prince does.
When do you know? When is the deciding factor for you? Is it training down at this stage of the game, or is it more when they go behind the gate? When do you think that you know what you have?
It's every horse is different. I knew with Lou Prince the first time I ever trained him. Mark will tell you, the first time I turned him the 1 mile, I said, this thing's a killer. The same with Looks Good and Lulu. First time I trained her, you just know they just go different. They have a different feel. But, there's been other horses. Blue Ridge Western, it wasn't until we put him in a bike. Sweet Lou, honestly, was in the first group, but it wasn't the star till we put him in the bike. And when we put him in a bike, we were like, this thing's a freak. So basically, by the time we bike him, I know who the champions are and who the champions are, so.
Core Memory, a Papi Rob out of Baron Remy, Al Papi's full brother.
Literally looks like a 4-year-old on the racetrack. To me, if there's one to pick the click this year, it's him. He's done nothing wrong. He's beautiful. He's just a perfect horse.
My Taylor Swift, a private purchase, Captaintreacherous out of Sweet Heaven.
Yeah, it's the Captaintreacherous out of the Lou Mare, which we think is going to be a big thing. Does everything. Got to watch her. Maybe could get a little hot, but very willing, and I think really high-end filly.
On 1 to 10, Ronnie, how big of a Taylor Swift fan are you with that name?
I guess not 10, but I'm an 8. Listen, I'm impressed. She's not just she's a once-in-a-lifetime talent, so I'm hoping this filly's the same.
Your pacing filly, Win Me Over, $120,000 Lexington purchase, Huntsville out of Winners Over from Weaver Standardbred.
Yeah, great bred filly. It's a half-brother to Watch Me Win, who we won the Delaware Breeders' Championship with last year. But bigger, stronger, absolutely perfect horse. Does nothing wrong, does whatever you want. It's the same way he was. That mare is a very good mare, and those people do a great job raising babies.
Trotting colt, Carbon Fiber, a $20,000 Harrisburg purchase, Gimpanzee out of Brunella.
I love this colt. He does nothing wrong. He absolutely just goes forward every time. Probably the best trotter we've had in a while.
Ronette Hanover, a $250,000 Harrisburg purchase, Walner out of Ramona Hill.
She's beautiful, and you know what? She had one bad day the day Yannick trained her, and then we came back. I trained her the next week, and I was like, Yannick, she was perfect. But no, she's really high end too. I have big hopes for her.
You have an interest in, I would assume, I believe, if I'm correct, 99% of the horses in your barn. That is quite uncommon for trainers these days. How does that affect you? We see the numbers, the purses, the accomplishments, but I'm sure that also adds a level of stress financially.
Yeah, no, we lose money every January, February, March. We start maybe getting close to breaking even, and then April. But, we've learned that, you have to, save up by the same thing, especially August, September, October last year were unbelievable. We were rolling better than we ever did. So, you've got to realize you can't spend money like you're spending then all the rest of the year. So, we got the business part down. I think that's the biggest thing we do as well as anybody. A lot of people can win races. We know how to make money.
With the money, time, and effort that you put into these horses, what do you expect of them? How many stars do you expect to show up every year?
I mean, we better have 10 legit sire stake, champion caliber horses, and if not, we're in trouble. The thing is, you realize you need to be 10 of them, like, really got to be top notch. You got to have 20 or 30 that are still very, very good horses. And then, you can have some that are just bill pairs, but the biggest thing is that other 20 or 30 that are not ready to be stars, move them along. And there, a lot of times I see those horses go on and be good for other people down the road. We're just not in the position to wait on them, or, we don't want to race them at the smaller venues. So, yeah, but we better have 10, you better have 10 that you think are, at least have a chance to win a sire stake champion.
Thank you so much, Ronnie, for taking the time. We've enjoyed seeing 3 different locations, but we also we know how busy you are, and we wish you the best of luck in 2026.
Yeah, I'm done for the day, so it's a good day.